So here's a look here at my moisture or overall precipitation forecast for the winter. So obviously the green signify above average precipitation, whether it's rain, snow, any type of precipitation basically. And then obviously then in the kind of brown region, that region we're going to be seeing overall some I guess below average precipitation with its rain, snow overall. But so let's now first go ahead and start with my reasoning for this map. So the reason I kind of have the more above average regions is kind of obviously kind of isolated towards the northern United States. You can kind of see that. The reason why I have no areas below average across portions of the southeast, south central, or southwest is because that Pacific just going to be far to the north with that Rossby wave kind of get really close to that region. So a lot of that stormy weather and overall precipitation will kind of remain towards the northern United States. However, obviously sometimes we will be seeing overall scattered showers and all that. It doesn't mean it's going to be dry the whole 4 months, obviously. But overall, average-wise, in 4 month averaged out-wise, the most amount of precipitation based on the average will be across portions of the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes and portions of the Pacific Northwest and Great Lakes. Not Great Lakes, sorry, and Pacific Northwest and the Rockies. So in that light kind of lemon lime green color, we have two regions. I think that's where we'll be seeing slightly above average precipitation across those regions. So maybe a few inches above average, whether it's snowfall, rainfall, sleet, rain, snow mix, you name it. It's going to be mainly possibly above average, whether we're seeing more snowstorms, more rain. Overall, it's looking a lot more favorable for above average precipitation. Obviously, a part of that is going to be possibly because obviously the La Nina characteristics and overall La Nina conditions are definitely likely to continue and bring in above average precipitation across portions, specifically across portions of the Great Lakes and the Rockies, but obviously we can see some widespread moisture across portions of the Dakotas, Ohio Valley, portions of the Northeast, and as well portion of the Sierras. So if you're in that light lemon lime green color, you guys may see possibly slightly above average precipitation. You really won't notice it. Obviously, there's going to be some times where it's going to be rather dry, but throughout the whole season, it's going to be mainly quite above average. And that darker green shade, obviously, you're going to be seeing a lot more precipitation according to their average. So it's going to definitely become a lot more noticeable compared to those in the lemon lime green. So specifically for the Rockies and portions of the Great Lakes, I think we'll be seeing some good chances overall, not only for a lot of precipitation, but obviously that will allow possibly for some really good conditions for snowstorms. So definitely watching out for some nice snowy conditions for these regions this winter. And then in the brown color, obviously, you're going to be seeing below average precipitation going all the way from portions of the Gulf Coast to the Pacific, to portions of the Pacific Southwest. And then that darker shade of brown, we're obviously going to be seeing a lot less precipitation with that Pacific jet staying kind of north of that region. It's going to be rather dry and as well quite hot. We will see maybe sometimes, but really not going to be anywhere close to occasional, where we may see a shower or so, maybe a snowstorm near the Four Corners states. But other than that, it's going to be rather below average for precipitation. We're still going to be seeing some good amount of snow for the Sierras near Lake Tahoe and Yosemite, but overall going to be below average based on what we're seeing right now. Here's a look now at my temperature outlook map. So obviously it's definitely quite different towards, or at least it's a little bit different compared to my fall forecast. So definitely I'm looking at a kind of north to south scenario when it comes to the United States. Typically I have a kind of a west-east scenario where it's kind of west warm, east cold, but in this scenario this year I think we're going to be seeing with the positive Arctic oscillation, that warm is going to be rather staying toward the north in Great Lakes, and now allowing for that south to remain quite warm. But I think we obviously at some times we're going to be seeing some cold fronts that reach the southeast, just because it's going to be a La Nina, or at least expected to a La Nina. It does not mean we're going to be seeing maybe some slightly below average air down to the deep southeast. However, it's going to be very, very, it's not going to be really super duper frequent, and it really won't be severe when it comes to the actually Arctic blast. Just a few degrees below average overall. So in that light blue color, that's where we're going to be seeing maybe slightly below average temperatures. So I think we're maybe a degree or maybe even 3 degrees below average, and be all the way from portions of the Pacific Northwest down to portions of Dixie Alley and going all the way up the Appalachian Mountains up to portions of Maine. So I think we can definitely see a good amount of Arctic blasts reaching this general region, and even going as far south as Georgia. And obviously there's a chance for we to see a few large and even significant cold fronts that could very well go all the way down straight to the Gulf Coast and bring in some snow for this region. But overall, the whole average after the 4 months, I think we'll be seeing maybe slightly below average down there near Dixie. In that darker shade of blue, they would be seeing a lot more frequent Arctic blasts, less frequent warm fronts, and just overall very cold winter. So if you're in that dark shade of blue, that second shade basically, you guys can definitely see a pretty cold winter overall. Warm fronts really won't be likely whatsoever. We see obviously a few because obviously it's not going to stay cold for a whole 4 months straight. But overall, it's going to be quite cold. We're going to be seeing some really significant clippers possibly maybe move into maybe the Great Lakes and maybe down to portions of the lower Midwest. But definitely very interesting scenario for you guys, especially with that possible positive Arctic oscillation to continue to bring that cold air from the Arctic Circle to the northern United States and have it kind of just stay there, and possibly that will allow the changes for some snow. And then in the purple color, that's where I think we'll be seeing obviously our overall coldest winter based on your average. So I think anywhere from that color, purple, I think we definitely see some significant clippers. Alberta clippers mainly, of course, where they're seeing really cold air and extremely just really cold and windy conditions, and as well even watch out for some blizzards. But overall, I think it's going to definitely be very interesting for a portion of the Dakotas and upper Midwest. Very cold and frigid according to what I'm thinking over here. Now, in the opposite side of the United States, we're going to be seeing a little bit warmer conditions because obviously we're not going to be seeing much precipitation. Obviously, it's going to be really, really warm. As the subtropical jet really won't support much of the region, so overall it's going to be rather warm. So, all the way from the Pacific to the Atlantic coast, we're going to be seeing slightly below average temperatures. However, in this specific region of the yellow color, it's actually not going to be really felt. It's not going to be really felt, the actual warm air itself. It's not going to be really noticeable. We may see maybe a degree or two above average overall, but there's a chance for some cold fronts to make their way down here. I would not rule out the possibility, and that's why there's kind of a little gap here within the average, because it's going to be kind of more of a average type winter, maybe for the southeast. Some cold air, some warm air. It's probably all going to be really average out though, but it looks like, according to what I'm looking at models and over long range forecast and just climatology, it looks like it's going to be slightly warmer across that portion of the southeast and off the Gulf Coast. In that orange color, looking at a lot warmer conditions overall. Obviously, that's where we're seeing more significant heat and a lot less cold fronts. And obviously, same goes for the red color. Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and California is going to be really, really, it is not going to be a fun winter at all. It really won't be a winter whatsoever for you guys, possibly. So, this is my actual forecast map for the 2021 and 2022 winter forecast number 1. So obviously there's a lot of areas to consider and talk about. So first thing I want to talk about is the storms area in the southeast. So in the storms area, it does not mean we're going to be seeing severe weather outbreaks or extreme severe weather events. It's just we're going to be seeing some storms and some severe weather. And I think it's going to be more common this year because the amount of snowstorms and obviously Arctic blasts according to just kind of and within the region of the Midwest and overall Ohio Valley. I think we definitely see some good setups here, decent setups for some storms across the Carolinas, specifically a portion of the deep southeast, portions of the Georgia region. Obviously, this will kind of be for more the late season, possibly January, February, and March. However, we could still see some storms maybe in December, really, but overall, this is kind of going for more the late season. In that yellow color, we're going to be seeing some warmth, like I did say, in that yellow region in the southeast and Gulf Coast. It's going to be slightly warmer, but it's really not going to feel it whatsoever. And there's still going to be some decently frequent cold fronts that really won't be necessarily severe. Maybe just a few degrees below average. But that's where I think we got some warmth. But it's going to be kind of near average, but just a little bit warmer. In the pink color, it's going to be seeing that wintry mix. So I think we definitely see a good chance for some wintry widespread mix across portions all the way from the south central up to portions of the mid-Atlantic. So I think we could definitely see some possibilities concerning the cold air and a decent amount of moisture near the eastern United States, specifically the Ohio Valley. We definitely may see some significant snowstorms across the Midwest and Ohio Valley and possibly the lower Midwest. And that will possibly allow maybe for some wintry mixed possibilities if there is a deep enough cold front or Arctic blast. We can definitely see some snow, rain, sleet, or ice within that region of the wintry mix. So you can have all around possibly wintry weather possibly. So it can't guarantee snow from that wintry mix. That's why it's called mix, because it's just all possibilities they can't be ruled out. And that purple color, obviously looking at for some significant nor'easters, mainly in the late season near January, Actually more like February, March, we'll really be watching out for those nor'easters. I doubt we're going to get another windstorm gale like we saw last year. That was definitely almost historic. But we can definitely see some good amount of nor'easters going up the coast and bringing them some snow across the northeast and mid-Atlantic and, of course, the New England region. In that dark blue, we have a very cold winter expected there. Obviously, you're going to be seeing those Arctic blasts and possibly clippers to the north. So, obviously, those cold air will continue to transition to the south, allowing for a still very cold winter and very cold air and frequent very cold air across portions of the Virginias, portions of the Ohio Valley, and up to the Central Plains. In that other kind of dark red rose brown slash color there across the Great Lakes and Midwest, we're going to be seeing some snowy conditions. We have that nice precipitation toward the south and to the north, and that cold air to the west, so really just bound to get some significant snowstorms there. And that white color near the Great Lakes, some good amount of lake effect snow possible from Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Huron, and Lake Erie. Definitely watching out for some good amount of lake effect snow this year overall. The amount of cold air and just the amount of precipitation we're seeing there, it's definitely very likely to see some good amount of lake effect snow. In that hot pink color, looking at some really nice Arctic blasts, some deep cold air, dry cold air, kind of frequently pushing to the United States. Possibly a few clippers, a few blizzards are likely. So definitely the worst of winter will, in my opinion, be across the upper Midwest, specifically because of La Nina possibility. And that two brown colors, not brown, sorry, those two gray colors, I have average. That's going to be across northern Nevada and northern California and portions of the south central. There's really going to be not much really put for these areas that flip-flop, which is basically translating to really kind of just uncertainty. So I just put an average for you guys. I will have a better idea what to put for you guys over there by possibly the second outlook. And the Pacific Southwest and overall the portion of the Four Corner states, I do have warm and dry. It's kind of self-explanatory why it's going to be warm and dry. Definitely not going to be a fun winter for those who like snow and cold in the Southwest. And that other white region, we're going to be seeing that mountain snow. And then last but not least, in that nice lemon lime green area across the Pacific Northwest and West United States near the Sierras and Rockies, we're going to be seeing some nice chilly and wet weather. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was worth the wait, and I will have another winter forecast, preliminary forecast like this, maybe within the next 2 weeks or so. But see you guys tomorrow.